So.
But can you pass me my phone? Modern technology can only go so far. Like a pound, but it just sounds better. Thanks. Problem with file. Okay, you know what? I have a keyboard here. I'll get an opening pitch and I'm ready to go. Say, can you see by the early light so proudly we gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through billows fight, o'er the ramparts we so gallantly streaming.
And Maria's going to make a quick announcement.
Just so you know, thank you, President Bob, for allowing me this time here at the mic. The Grand Launch of California, we've had these buttons printed and they are with our lovely logo, Italian Roots American Branches. We are selling them for $10 as a fundraiser. Half of the proceeds will go to our California Western Foundation and the other half will go to the Sons of Italy Foundation. So I encourage you, if you're interested, sometimes you can't wear a t-shirt, but you can always wear a pin. So if you're interested, please contact me. Thank you so much for your support. I appreciate it.
Everybody, please be seated. I'm going to ask Dr. Mark D'Annunzio to come up and introduce some of our friends from the hotel that have helped us out. I want to in particular thank Joe DiGiapani and Paul Polo, who worked on the site committee to get this site, and Mark for helping to arrange with the staff the numerous things that had to be done. A lot of work and effort went into this. Mark.
Thank you, President Bob. Appreciate that. Again, great to be back in front of everybody. It's been 2.5 years since the last plenary. It's amazing. So we're back with Hyatt again. And I just wanted to recognize some of the folks that from the hotel who've been extremely accommodating and very helpful to us. I also want to recognize the national office, particularly Joanna, who worked very closely with the hotel staff on all the details. And we're having a great start to the meeting, and I appreciate all that the staff has done. First, our event coordinators, Tricia Morella. Tricia's back there. Thank you for all you've done. Our AV expert is Maurice Ward, and Maurice helped coordinate getting us a fair price on the AV stuff, and appreciate all your efforts, Maurice. Thank you very much for working with us. And the hotel general managers back from vacation in Paris. Do they have a Hyatt in Paris? They have Hyatt in Paris. Okay. Just in case could we do a next meeting in Paris, maybe at the
Paris, okay.
Okay. Okay. Mark Wagner, the general manager, and he'd like to just say a couple words.
I would. Thank you very much. First and foremost for letting us be a small portion of your, what seems to be a very rich tradition. And also wanted to thank you very much for trusting us with your meeting. And I know that you've had a short stay so far, but I know you have 24 hours left, and please, we're here for anything that you need. We know that things come up, and if there's anything we can do, we will be very nimble and work with you to make the last day and a half of your visit with us remarkably well for you. So thank you again for entrusting us and spending your time with us. We appreciate it very much.
Thank you. And now, Paula Parker, the Grand Lodge President. As you know, is our tradition to have the Grand Lodge President speak from the vicinity or location that we're at. So Paul, please.
Okay. Thanks, Bob. I'm gonna read this because it's easier, otherwise like too wordy. Okay, brothers and sisters, President Bob, officers and everyone, I'm happy to welcome you to the city of Chicago. You've come to the third largest city in the United States, settled in 1780 and becoming a city in 1837. Chicago has first-class museums, hundreds of theaters, gorgeous parks, miles of beaches, and the most breweries in one city. In short, Chicago is an amazing place, and we are glad you are here. There's around 500,000 citizens in Chicago that are Italians, and the surrounding areas claim Italian heritage. Chicago has 150 Italian organizations, which does make it difficult for the Order of Sons and Daughters of Italy in America to capture an audience. But we try. The first Italian to come to what would become Chicago was Enrico Fermi, a soldier in service to the French in 1680. In the 1850s, Italians settled in Chicago, and then a second wave of immigration arrived from rural areas in southern and central area. My father happened to be one of them. In 1920, Chicago had the third largest ethnic Italian population in the nation, surpassed only by New York City and Philadelphia. Between the years of 1945 and 2005, over 25,000 Italians arrived in Chicago. Because of my science background, I have to mention one of our more famous Italian-American scientists, Enrico Fermi, the physicist who oversaw the first self-sustaining nuclear chain reaction at the University of Chicago. It happened to be underneath the football stadium, for those of you who don't know the history. Chicago has celebrated with a Columbus parade since 1868. The next one is October 10th. The day begins with a mass at Our Lady of Pompeii Shrine, followed by a small procession to Arrigo Park. Some short speeches about our Italian heritage will be given. Each year, the Grand Lodge of Illinois and Wisconsin has the honor of laying a wreath at the conclusion before we move on to the parade. In years past, the wreath was laid at the Christopher Columbus statue. But since all the controversy about our beloved Chicago Columbus statues, we laid it at the Italian Veterans War Memorial in the same park. After that, it's on to the parade in downtown, in which we proudly march. I want to thank you and welcome you to Chicago, my birthplace, years of growing up and schooling, and may the Order of Sons and Daughters of Italy in America have a productive plenary and positive future. Thank you. Not through. I'm not through. Okay. My wife went around and gave everybody a ticket stub. Anybody who didn't get one? Okay, John Benaventura has been helping me out. Everybody get my little gift? Okay. That's from the Grand Lodge in Illinois and Wisconsin. That was supposed to be given to everybody a couple of years ago, but we got canceled out, remember? So put your hand up and get a ticket. And then John will give me the stubs. I've got 5 prizes, okay? Pardon me? No. No, these, one of the prizes in the bag that whoever wins them was donated by Rich Della Croce's nephew, who runs Easy Cloud Solutions. He's my computer guy at our office. And this is one of his side businesses. It's a very expensive mask. Okay, it's with a filter and well, you'll see, whoever wins will see. And there's a coffee cup from the Sun's Italy in there. No, in the bag. Well, if you can fit it, it's okay. But I thought we'd do this a little extra, so I want people to go back to wherever they're going from Illinois to know that we care, okay?
It's the third ticket that knows you.
Yeah, how many did Mark get? And my assistant volunteered while we were sitting there, so make use of everybody you can. Mark needs one. And Nancy Quinn needs one too. Don't mean to prolong the thing, but
No, no worries.
I thought that would be nice.
You doing the drawing now? Or do it after?
Yeah, I'm gonna do them now, so get it over with. There's only 5 of them. Where do you go with the stubs? My intention was to hand them out at the door, but it didn't work out that way.
Why don't we, do it at a break or something?
Pardon?
Why don't we do it at a break?
Well, whatever you want. What do you want to do?
I think so, because he's gotta get all the.
Okay, we'll do it at the break.
Yeah.
All right. We'll call the numbers off at the break. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, Father Forno, opening prayer, please.
Buongiorno. You know, let's just stand up and since several people already did, thank you so much. And let us pray. Creator God, we come to you today asking for your guidance, wisdom, and support as we begin this plenary. Help us to engage in meaningful discussion, allowing us to grow closer as a national body and nurture the bonds of fraternal charity. Fill us with your grace, Lord God, as we make decisions. Continue to remind us that all we do these next 2 days, all we accomplish here is in total service to our members. Help us to listen before speaking, to fully understand before we present our concerns. Help us to value and appreciate each sister and brother with a greater vision and enthusiasm for the work before us. May the fraternal bonds we share help influence our planning, reach our goals of service, to those entrusted to our care, and the charities we support. We ask these things in your name, good and gracious God, who lives forever and ever. Amen. Thank you so much.
All right, guys, so we'll try to move through as quick as we can, but right now I'm going to call the plenary session into order and ask the recording secretary to do the roll call, please.
National President Robert A. Bianchi.
Here.
National First Vice President Joseph Poncor.
Present.
Second Vice President Michael Polo.
Here.
Third Vice President Tom Lugo. Fourth Vice President Mark D'Annunzio.
Here.
Fifth Vice President Tony Anderson. National Immediate Past President Nancy DeFiore Quinn. National Order Frank Gattuso.
Here.
And Anthony Filio is here. National Treasurer Joe Rondinelli. I'm sorry, I skipped National Financial Secretary Lou Santoro. National Historian Lynn Lawrence Murphy. National Chaplain Reverend Adam Forno.
Present.
National Trustees, California, Arlene Nunziati. Connecticut, Dan Onofrio is excused. Florida, Carolyn Cianciata. Massachusetts, Tony Sestito.
Sestito, did you say? He's excused.
Maryland, Vincent Zachariah. Jersey, Nick Perzicelli. Northwest, Rosetta Stella Beiersdorf. National Trustee, New York, and CSJ National President Robert Burrito. Ohio, Brian Anzik. Pennsylvania, Gina Toff Becker is excused. Grand Lodge Presidents, California, Barbara Famosa Winuski. I apologize for that. Colorado, John Carochi. Connecticut, Paul Duriu is substituting for Neil Vallecca Jr. Delaware, Joe Fasciola. Florida, Tony Cianciata. Illinois, Wisconsin, Paul Laparco. Massachusetts, Denise Finari. Maryland, Anita Lombardi Riley. Nebraska, Dan Machuela. New Jersey, Diane Santoro. New York, Michelle Ment. Northwest, Linda Anderson. Ohio, David Corsi. Pennsylvania, Nancy Timperio Porcelli. Rhode Island, John Bonaventura. Virginia, Bob Amante, substituting for Larry Brennan. West Virginia, Richard Villanco.
Actually, he did send me Numa, excused.
National past presidents, Vera Girolami. Dan Longo is excused. Joe Russo is excused. Joe DiTrapani. Vince Sarno is excused. National past president and SIF national president, Joe Shiami. Paul Boncour is excused. Paul Polo. Joanne Strollo. and Peter Zuzolo is excused. For the president, there's a clear quorum.
Thank you, National Recording Secretary. And with that, please don your regalia. Yep, done so already. And we'll move into the minutes of the pre-plenary and Supreme Council meetings, which you have in your book. I'll entertain a motion to approve those minutes. Joe Boncory, Joe Fasciola, seconding. I'm sorry. Yeah, hold on a second. Okay, we'll get there. So right now, any discussion? Barbara has one. Your name. Okay. Okay, we'll correct that.
We'll fix that.
Any
Sorry.
other corrections, amendments, additions, deletions? Seeing no hands raised, I'll leave the matter to your consideration. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Okay, the minutes pass. Come to the point in time now for me to give you a little bit of an update about what we've been doing in the past year. So I gave a pretty detailed report, as you can see. Hopefully you had an opportunity to review it. And I just have to start by saying that when we spoke in Jersey City in October about the state of the order, we were just being realistic with numbers. I have tasked my team, my inner team, to do a deep dive and to look in the mirror and see where we're at and where we need to go. We've had a precipitous decline in membership, as I'm sure you're all aware. And I believe that what I'm about to say right now, all is correctable. I think that there's a lot of value, and sometimes it's addition by subtraction. Sometimes you have to see what it is, where you're at, and change a mindset. And I understand for some, changing mindset can be a little different. We've never done it this way before, and we hear these comments, but I made it clear from the beginning. I think I've proven in the past year that, I mean, those who know me, when I say it, I'll do it, is that we haven't discarded any traditions that we've had. What we've done is amplify, move into a different direction where we've added elements so that we can try to bring value into the organization so we can bring the younger people in. We've done studies, we've reached out, we understand where the issues are, but we have to be able to clean everything up, if you will, and move in that kind of positive direction. And none of that happens. I have a lot of accomplishments I'm very proud of, but the fact of the matter is I'm an idea guy. I needed a team of people behind me that was going to work literally day and night. And we are on the phone every day with some individuals and multiple times a week with other individuals. And I know that there are things that are being done and we've never done them before, or everything's not perfect. And how come this? There's a lot of planning that goes into all these things, a lot. So I believe that in the leadership positions that I've had, if you get the right people at the table, you can make some incredible progress. And I'm going to give it's always a dangerous thing to start naming names, but I have to, because it wouldn't be fair to me that everyone has not participated and supported. Everyone has. But I want to start primarily with Mark D'Annunzio and Dr. Mary Kovach. When I tell you that I'm on the phone with them daily, you say, well, how can that be? For hours at a time. It is to try to move the ship in the direction where we can move to the future, healthier fiscally, healthier in membership. And it's not going to turn just in a second. We've done a lot to rough out and move into the direction where we need to go. No question about it. But those two in particular have been on the phone listening to my ideas, my thoughts, my suggestions, and are the ones that are actually executing on my behalf. As you may recall, I'm just being real, we were in a $50,000 deficit in last year. And we were talking about having to cut plenaries and, what are we going to do? And one of the first things that we did when we came in was a substantial audit of all of the vendors and where all the money was going to see whether we can cut costs without compromising quality. And that effort took many more people than Mark, Mary, myself, but I also want to introduce Shayla, who you, I'm sure all know by now. Shayla is an accountant, a CPA. She's also the mom of 4 beautiful kids. And while she's raising her children, she offered her services to us. How many hours are you up to now so far? 800 hours of time to go through the books. And I don't know how she did. I mean, I was listening to some conversations. She has gone back, found things, done things that are just unbelievable. And she was a big part of the vendor review as Tom Lupo, as the advisor, and the committee on budget and finance, all of these moving pieces working together. And I'm proud to say that we've done things like correcting our medical benefits, going on a bi-weekly pay schedule, accounting services. Shayla now is working with us directly in the office as a 1099 contract employee with Michael Howard, our new booker, and working with our new accountant. And I'm proud to report here. And Shayla, I want you're gonna have to come up and tell me, because I'm not a numbers guy, really. I'm like, Shayla, where are we at? Where are we at? That's what I'm doing. We've not only made up the $50,000 deficit in less than a year, but we now have $100,000 surplus in Supreme. Thank you for all your hard work. It's extraordinary. That is a $150,000 turnaround. And the reason I mention that is because if we can do that, we can do that. And everybody said, Kel, where are we going to find the money? How's it going to be possible? Well, we did it. And we now have the most healthy accounting practices and transparency, real transparency. I mean, I'm not saying there wasn't transparency before. Don't get me, I'm not suggesting that. This is a progression of things that we're doing. And when Joey gets in and Michael gets in, they're going to make their progression. We're all going to make improvements. We have to recognize, we have to keep evolving, keep changing, keep growing, keep moving. And we're going to be able to do that. We have a Facebook following. I know you guys are not quote techie, but we don't need you to be techie, but the marketing that we've done, the TV show reaching 3.8 million homes in the tri-state area, the Italian American magazine that you see now with Andrew Cotter, award-winning writer, as you see, did a tremendous job on the magazine. It was out there if you haven't had an opportunity to see it. All of these things were saving us incredible amounts of money along the way. So what did we do? We looked at what are the biggest costs that we're paying for, and we then attacked them to reduce them. $100,000 a year in accounting fees, less than we were before, and that's with the bookkeeper, that's with Shayla, and that's with our new accountant. That's $100,000 a year alone across all 3 entities. I'm excited about this. This is just like really, really good stuff. And if we could do something like that and find that kind of money, then I know that we're going to be able to start working on membership. It's not going to be automatic, but we're trying to deliver value to younger people, to middle-aged people, to the people that we currently have, to make sure we have retention. There are plans in the progress for all these things. The Women's Action Committee, Linda Anderson and myself have been, dialoguing with our production team. We're literally producing things for people. I went to New York convention, thank you, and to California, Barbara. I wasn't really sure if that was something that was necessary. And I went to New York and I got to speak to the actual delegates, and everybody was very kind and good. And I said, got to go to California after New York. I got to go there. And it was a tremendously positive thing that the national president out there. And so all these things we can do. We found a bunch of young people in California. Everybody's how to get young people involved. By the time we were done, I don't know if you've seen the pictures, and we still have more to do. We had a whole group of young people exchanging phone numbers, and they're in contact with me, and they want to help build a national program to give value to what people are looking for. This can all be done. We have a Facebook following of 94,000 people. That's an incredible number of people. And we haven't even really tried to increase those numbers right now because we had to do a lot of, office stuff, which gets me to my next point. I want to thank Justin, where is around here somewhere. Okay, Justin, great job managing the office. I am so proud of this staff. And again, I'm not saying anything wrong about the past, but we have Michael Howard who's a bookkeeper, who is professionally trained, schooled in bookkeeping, who's doing a phenomenal job working with Shayla. You need these things in order to dig and pull the back and find where we could make up that $150,000. That's what these guys were doing. Joanna, she's right over there. If you haven't had an opportunity, you want to stand up, raise your hand. Yes, awesome. Speaks 5 languages? 7? 7.5? I don't know, whatever. She's tremendous. Like when Justin and myself, and 7 more than Joey Boncourt speaks. Look, when we took our time with this, because as I put in my report, and I mean this deeply, it's not just about having a great skill set, which is hard to find. It's having the right mindset, positivity, willingness to do new things, never saying the words, which I tell people, if I hear them, I will bring you to the first floor of a building and throw you out the window. And the phrase is, we've never done that before. Because if we continue to say we've never done that before, remember that graph? That's what happens when we continue to do the same thing and expect a different result. And I'm not saying that negatively. I'm excited because we have the ability to be able to turn this all around. And all of you have been so supportive in that effort. So I greatly appreciate it. But Joanna, born, I believe, in Albania, lived in Italy, China. She worked in China. She speaks Chinese. I mean, unbelievable talent. Really, really excited having her on board. And Tato, like I said, with the magazine, saving us a tremendous amount of money on our second most costly thing, the magazine. And you see the result of that. And as a 1099 employee, without having the benefits, without having a high salary, so on and so forth, we've actually saved money on the second largest item, the magazine that we pay money on. Harrison Brown, now entering into law, was an assistant down at the national office. All very, very talented people, all working together. Shayla, that team now as well. And I don't think we could be prouder of having, look, we've all been around the block. Those of you who've been in national, we've all known that sometimes, not everybody plays well in the sandbox. Does everybody know that phraseology, right? This team's playing well in the sandbox. They can deliver. They've got the goods. So national office staff, thank you for everything that you're doing. We have instituted programs, but that doesn't come without planning. So every Tuesday and every Friday, we have about an hour and a half torture session, I guess, of a number of individuals at the national office staff, our presidents, Robert Burrito and from CSJ, Joe Shiami, myself, Mark D'Annunzio, Mary Kovach, and Tony Anderson. The vice presidents are always invited. Some pop on, some put, so it's okay, it's fine. Tony Anderson's a regular with that. But this is where we're talking about where we're going. So for the first hour and a half on Tuesday, we're talking about plans and projects. And then on Fridays, we typically talk about our weekly win that we do to move the ball forward. And we have a dashboard. Okay, we're going to be reinstituting it every quarter where we have metrics. What are our top priorities and are we reaching our goals? One of them is how many YouTube subscribers we have. We have a number of different things. So we're measuring our success, building programs around those goals. If we're not meeting them, it's not arduous. If we're not meeting those goals, then we simply reconnoiter and see why it is and what we can do to help that out. The national vice presidents, everyone on this dais, invested in what is happening. We have our monthly calls with the vice presidents, and often I am reaching out to them with issues that come up, sometimes collectively as a group or individually, if I feel that they have that skill set for whatever that particular problem may be. So I want to thank our national vice president for doing an awesome job. Thank you, guys. And then there are those times whenever you're leading an organization that something comes up and you're like, I have no idea what to do here. I have no idea. I've never experienced anything like this before. Coming up through the chairs, I don't know. And that is when I turn to the immediate past presidents. We're all sitting there. the wisdom of the organization, the people that have been down the road before. And I often pick up the phone and I'm like, hey, guys, can you help me out with this? I've never heard this before. Do you have any advice? And I know that by the end of that call, that I'm going to know where and what direction I want to go. So to our past national presidents, thank you for everything that you do and have done. So you see in my minutes here or in my notes, all of the problems. And I do want to try to clarify one thing so you understand my mindset. And I know what I'm about to say is going to be controversial, but I know I'm going to get support for it in the end. Supreme's main source of income is per capita taxes. And for many years, we've listened to people stand up, and I understand there's differing points of view on this. And they've said things like, we need to raise per capita by a quarter. We need to raise per capita by 50 cents. In fact, I remember a phrase somebody said, why would the Grand Lodges object to this? If they were really Italian, they'd give us the money. I remember that comment actually being made. Wasn't, yeah. Listen, how I see it for this organization to survive. Foundation and CSJ exist because Supreme's authority in the bylaws to have them exist. Supreme has to exist. Supreme has to continue. But we also know we have a declining membership. And while we're going to move to try to turn that around, that is not something that's going to turn around on a dime. We're building programs to build value. Social media, because that's where the younger people go. The magazine is great, but I'm not asking you to be a social media expert, but you have to recognize your 30s, 40s, 50-year-olds, get their news, information, and data from Instagram, Twitter, maybe a little Facebook. That's more of the older generations. So we're not only doing marketing towards the traditional, but we've got to be where they are. We have to meet them where they are. So we're programming things like we've never done. But you'll see in Supreme, we're also doing things to try to raise money for Supreme. Now, what a lot of people don't realize is that, I don't know where this mythology came from, but there are tax deductible, not that that's a huge issue. If it goes to cultural or heritage or education, these are all tax deductible gifts. We're not doing anything foundation, talk about that, which is, I gotta stop. I'll pivot real quick. Joe Shiami with the Neela. I did not in-person Neela. I'll be the first one to say it. I did not think it was going to work. I thought with the COVID and all that, Joe convinced us to do it. And you'll hear the report later, but it was a tremendous success. Again, what happens when we work as a team? Right. I mention that at this point in time because all these things that we're doing, and I've said this before, I do not want the sons and daughters of Italy any longer to be the best kept secret. Best kept secret. The largest and oldest Italian-American organization in the United States. Our history is rich and deep. Dr. Solero started this organization when Italians need one another just to survive, to get medical care, to have housing, to feed children, to bury, when they wouldn't, we talk about discrimination, when Italians couldn't even be buried in the states they lived in. That's how Dr. Solero started it. But we were talking about this last night. I said, I'm not a historian, that the Italian-American experience were the quickest group to assimilate of any group that came over to the United States. Hard work, not asking for a handout, not asking to be given something they didn't earn, pride, family, faith, brought all of us up very quickly because we came from a culture of greatness. It's not surprising. So our organization shifted, and now we shift into giving back. We are the only organization that has grassroots, local lodges, grand lodges. Other organizations say, oh, we're a large Italian-American organization. This is what they have. Papers with names on it and email addresses. Maybe they'll have a meeting, once a year. They're not going to the community and raising funds like New Jersey did for a veteran who's a police officer that came back And they're sitting out there and they're selling sandwiches and meatball and all sorts of things to raise money for that individual. And on I could go with each of what your local lodges are doing and what your grand lodges are doing. You're making a real difference, touching real human beings, not names on a list. That's the difference for us. And that's why we're going to survive when the other ones are going to go down. How many tens of millions of dollars? We should be proud. I'm saying this for a reason. Yeah, we have problems with membership. We have a decline. We do. All organizations have that. But will you work with us? Will you support what it is that we're doing so that we can continue to donate tens of millions of dollars to people that are in need? This can be done. This will be done. This vision is not going to die. Not less when I'm pretty confident, not when these gentlemen down the line are here as well. So yeah, we've done some things a little bit different, but I think that they've paid off. So when you see some fundraising for Supreme, I want you to understand the context of why that's happening. The Solero fundraiser, yeah, it's the first one. Is it perfect? I don't understand. Can you explain? It's not going to be perfect, but you know what? Perfection is the enemy of good. We've got to move in a direction. Giving Tuesday, and you see the funds that were raised there. Why do I want to raise money for Supreme? Two reasons. One, Supreme has to survive. And two, I'm going to ask your support at some point in time. And it's just a mindset change. It's just a mindset change that we recognize that our sisters and brothers in the Grand Lodges and in the local lodges are having a harder time than we are. They can't save $150,000 like we did. So I will be coming to you, hopefully with your 100% unanimous approval at some point in time in our next meetings to actually do something that I don't think has ever been said before, but I think we really need to do, is to lower per capita taxes. Now, maybe by a penny, it may be by a nickel, okay? But what I'm trying to do is set the mindset that we need to start helping our sisters and brothers underneath us, opposed to more money. Thank you. More money from them. Thank you. It can be done, and it can be done in a fiscal way that is not going to affect us significantly financially. But I'm also going to ask your support when we do that to support the Supreme fundraising efforts, because it's by keeping Supreme alive that way that we're going to be able to continue maybe to lower the per capita situation. Now, on that note, I'll be very quick at this point. I know we got to move forward. We are looking for benefactors. Everybody's telling me we've never done it that way. Down to the first floor you go and out the window. Next, you know, after two go out the window, it usually ends. Nobody, you know, it's all good. But we're doing a new website right now. We're doing new programs. When you hear what the Women's Act is about to put together, I'm not gonna blow the cover of it right now. I'll let them have their day. We are providing value in the community, not just to Italians, but to all people, by having programming where people see, wow, this organization's doing a lot. I want to be a part of it. Wow, they're on TV. Wow, they're doing social media. That's why I want your events. Give me pictures, whatever. I got a production team that's going to put it together for you. You don't have to do it. All you do is pick up this or get one of your younger people. California, I grabbed that poor girl, Marissa. Is that her name? Marissa, how old are you? Good. You're going to be taking pictures for the rest of the thing. She was snapping away, taking videos. She was excited. We're going to be able to put something together for California, for New York. That's going to be amazing. People are going to say, wow, young people. Well, how is that picture? Did you see the picture of California with all of us? I mean, it was really amazing, all those young people, right? They were excited. We can do this. We're going to do it. So one of the things that we're doing with the new website and with the programming and with the social media is we're trying to attract, and we're going to go to you, the millionaires and billionaires of the world who have a lot of money, who want to donate that money, but want to donate that money to a place that's worthy of it. So when our website changes and it's more efficient, a cleaner look, when they see what we're doing, we want them to come make a substantial contribution to Supreme so that we don't have to worry every year by nickels and dimes and pennies and dollars about survival. We can use that money invested and grow. So we need you, your contacts, your connections. We've been seriously considering a business development person, which I think is a wise move in order to start bringing in those serious dollars. Mark D'Annunzio got Cento to support the TV show. Have you guys seen the commercial for Cento? I hope we're going to show it tomorrow. I mean, Cento's got it down. They got grandma, they got the grandkid. Yeah, grandma, I only use Cento. It's unbelievable. You know what? I started buying the Cento as well. I looked at the sodium, not the boom. I'm buying Cento. So we can now what happens when Cento's up? Now another company's looking at it, like Cento is supporting them. Why aren't we supporting them? We're not begging people for money anymore. We're the best kept secret, but we're not going to be anymore. We're going to get out there to let them know that we have something to deliver to you. We have thousands and tens of thousands of members across the country. We have TV shows that are reaching 3.8 million homes in the tri-area and streaming across the world. We have 94,000 Facebook followers. They made a three season commitment, right?
They did a first season, they liked what they saw, and they re-upped for 2 more seasons. So
You know, yeah. Great job. Great job. And trust me when I say this, no disrespect to Cento. They're not doing it out of the kindness of their heart. Their heart's probably in the right space, but they are not making that kind of commitment, but they see value in the marketing with the Sons and Daughters of Italy in America, all from the work of the team and many of you on the committees. My last point is Rome. Rome. Frank Cattuso is in charge of the ice cream gelato tour. You know, we are going to not only meet our sisters and brothers in Italy for the first time, we're now inducting a new lodge out of Palermo, Italy. And so we'll have charter in hand when we go there. We're going to open that meeting up and live stream it so that this way you guys can see that if you're not going. Justin, and Joanna lived in Rome, so we got a kind of behind the scenes nooks and crannies kind of thing that we're doing. Great stuff on the agenda. October was when we were meeting, but I said, listen, we're meeting in October. Why open it up to the Supreme Council or any member now that's interested in going? We've got a good team. If anybody's interested, you can still. I understand it's the notice is late and travel is difficult, but I am really looking forward. And we're not just going to go there to have a good time and eat Frank's gelato. Okay, we're going to be meeting hopefully people in the park. We're going to be meeting business connections that are being arranged right now to build strategic partnerships with businesses in Italy. We're going to be going to the American University in Rome, where we have a scholarship, I believe, Mark. We're trying to arrange that. We're going to be going there with a check for the support of our Ukraine fund and the folks over there. So we're going to be doing a lot of business, but we're going to have a good time doing it. But our international footprint is expanding. Why do they want to be a part of us? Because they see value in who it is and what it is we do. So I'm only going this long because I want to try to let you know, first of all the great work everybody's doing. I am not the easiest guy to work with. And I mean that in the sense that I want measurable results. I want to have a plan. The national staff probably goes crazy. I want this to be done, and I want to delegate to the people to do it. And they have risen to that beyond my wildest expectations. National office staff running smooth with tremendous talent. We have no place more to go than up. Okay. And I need that support from you guys all the time. Whatever controversies, we try to work them out. We worked a few out. I got this issue. I got that issue. Fine. Let's not sweat the small stuff. Okay. Let's work on the bigger plan. So if I don't see you physically in Rome, maybe I'll see you virtually from Rome. We're going to photo document that entire trip. We're going to be putting it on our show, social media, so on and so forth. Thank you guys, for the support. And I'll be talking to you a little bit later on, but I hope an opportunity to read all of the stuff that I basically put in here, because none of that, simple to write on paper, took a lot of talent and energy from our people. So without further ado, Joe Boncory, First National Vice President. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, worthy president and brothers and sisters. It's wonderful to be with all of you in person. It's been too long, but it's just great to see the smiling faces, have the personal conversations. I want to thank you all for the prayers for my family over the past 2 years. We haven't been together. They've gone a long way, and the boys are healthy, and they'll be 3 in October, and it's just been an incredible ride. Thank you. And I got a report today from my wife that the ultrasound on the 3rd was great. So we're still on track for the 25th. So I'm hoping you'll meet them all in Tampa next year, because that's a plan to be down at. During that was, thank you, Brother Bob. During Brother Bob's report, Brother Tom leaned over to me and goes, "Man, I'm glad I don't have to follow him and you have to follow." And I'm like, "Brother Tom, I don't have to follow him just today. I got to follow him every day for the rest of my career here in the Order Sons of Italy." I think Bob was just too modest, because he's not just a visionary. Being a visionary is one thing, but really getting in and building the capacity to see that vision become reality is really the story of Bob Bianchi. And he's made a lot of changes, some very small, some I would say pretty big. And it hasn't been easy. Change makes people uncomfortable. But, a few years ago when Brother Bob, myself, Brother Michael, decided, yeah, we're going to do this and we're going to get in line and be the change we want to see, that was part of the commitment. And he's really stayed true to the commitment. We all appreciate that, because if we get our financial house in order, if we get our operational and procedures in order, then we can begin to grow and see that vision that we all share into reality. And that's a big thing. You can be a visionary, but if you don't have the people that trust you to see that vision, believe in that vision, it's that ability. You've seen it up here at the mic, but I've seen it every monthly on the vice president's calls. Others see it weekly and daily from the office staff. He's got the buy-in to build the same, because he didn't say it, but if we keep continuing doing the same things and expecting different results, everyone knows what that's the definition, right? And he didn't say it, and I won't say it, because we're so far from there, and we're so headed in the right direction, thanks to all of his work. And I know it's been stated, but it should be stated again, the work of Dr. Mark, Dr. Mary, and the office staff, and helping right this ship, right size this ship, and begin reality that is his vision and all of our shared collective vision. I think after that rousing speech going on. So I want to thank you all for again making the trip. I know it was difficult for many of you, but you're here, and it's just remarkable. I was telling a few people, but just to see you all being here, those of you that traveled alone, who were a little older than I traveled alone and I was a little uncomfortable, but you made the journey because you believe in the vision, you believe collectively what our tenets are and what we're here to do. So just thank you for being here. Come back for the next 2 years, because I'm going to need you more than ever. But in my role here as the first national vice president, beyond supporting Brother Bob and the other vice presidents, is to oversee 5, them being the Alzheimer's Committee, the Business Development Committee, the Future Good and Order Committees, Scholarship and Culture, as well as the Duane Mitchell Committee. And I have a report. I'm sure you've all read it 3 or 4 times by now, so I won't read it to you, but I just want to say some thank yous. For the Alzheimer's report, I want to thank Arlene Nunziati from California, as well as Sister past National President Joanne Strollo, for their dedicated work to this committee. COVID has not been an easy time to raise money when so many out of work and so many businesses. And in the past 2 years, they've still been able to raise $42,000 for that cure. And it's incredible what the Sons of Italy has done in its history, recent history, in raising money for Alzheimer's disease. It's incredible. Now in my new capacity, since leaving the state Senate, now working in biotech, it's incredible how far really the methodology, the treatments and therapies have come for Alzheimer's. They've located the protein that blocks the brain paths to cure Alzheimer's, and we now have the first FDA approved therapy to stop the progression of Alzheimer's, made by a Massachusetts company, of course, Biogen, And, CMS hasn't been too kind with the release and making that available to so many. Amazing. And you should all, really, celebrate what this organization has done for that disease. It's the seventh leading cause of death in this country. Obviously, it's particularly prevalent in Western European nations and descendants of that. And, that's what the Sons of Italy is about, seeing that reality and envisioning it from the beginning. The business, so thank you, ladies, for your leadership. The Business Development Committee has been meeting, and I will say, they haven't been fruitless meetings, but they've been a start in reality, and this we have to be honest with each other, and I wouldn't be doing my job if I didn't get up here and report facts. So they're continuing to work, continuing to meet. They're still at really strategic, the strategic stage in the committee, but really over the next 2 years, I think with some shuffling up, we need to use that committee to the ends that Bob's was talking about, and beginning to raise the money. We haven't done in the past, but we've all made a commitment and seen the vision to do. So we're looking forward for that committee again to keep meeting and really to develop a plan with the national office moving forward. The Scholarship, Education, and Culture Committee, which is led by Michelle Ment from New York, with the assistance of Joe Fasciolo, Gina Toothbecker, really did a tremendous job. I have to say, I was in Brother Bob's camp when it came to the Neela dinner, and just having it, and not having an in-person event. And I admit as well that I was wrong. It was an incredible event, and the scholarship recipients, were a breath of fresh air. Coming out of what we all came out of in the last 2 years, with all that's going in the world, to see these young men and women who represent us as Italian Americans, who represent us in professional fields, and to what they're doing was truly remarkable. That committee did an incredible job wading through the volume of applications they had to do to get the best and very brightest, and something we celebrate each and every year. So thank you to that committee. The Judicial Committee, led by Sister Marie, thank you very much for your work there, and Brother Phil is also that committee. I know the Air Force trophies have been presented over the last 2 years. There haven't been any official ceremonies that we've been able to take part in, but they have been presented. The U.S. Air Force had been yet to award the 2022 trophy. I don't know, have they at this point? Understood. Well, that's a report there. So I want to thank all the committee chairs beyond these committees for the work they do every day to keeping the order moving forward. And without further ado, do I pass the mic or back to you?
Yeah, Michael Polo.
Michael Polo.
Thanks.
Good morning, brothers and sisters. So I kind of changed what I was going to say because over the last 2 days, I've been witnessing some really interesting things. I'll get to my report in a minute. How many of you remember Joe Avarro and Al Riccelli? That was the first national convention that I came to. And I was sitting where you are, where I was on the audience. And I'm listening to Brother Bob and all the things that are going on here. And I have a very interesting position in this, and that is that I have a past national president, 80-year-old father who was from that generation. And so the perspective for me tends to be a little different than most. I think Joey can probably relate, and even Bobby can relate because he's got an unbelievable father in the same age group. And so my last 2 years has been an incredible, as you can tell by my committee report, I am not a writer. When Dad was in the office, he had Phil Pichigallo, who wrote a lot of stuff, and they had an office that has kind of changed. But that being said, I could write a book for all the conversations that we have. And he always said, you're not listening or you're not understanding. And so we have these great conversations about technology and where the world is going. And even as of last night, and then changes that are going on in our organization. For one, that again, he thought I was fighting with him. I was just discussing it. That past national presidents no longer Sons of Italy Foundation trustees who are emeritus don't vote where they used to vote. So to us, that would sound pretty normal, but to a seasoned veteran, that is a negative, right? And so he goes, I said, all I'm saying is maybe you weren't supposed to vote. Maybe they're only supposed to be in the terms 9 trustees and all the things. So coming from my side of this, I love what the Order is doing today. And then I also have another side of it that I see a lot of, I would say, senior people in the office that they struggle with it. And so what we talk about face to face, by the way, I love being here face to face. Those are the important parts. And what we talk about in our homes are sometimes 2 different things, and then they collide. What the important piece of this is this organization is going to grow because of what Brother Bob is implementing. I truly believe, and I talk to Joey about this often, I could never have done what Brother Bob has done. He has vision, a lot of hours, vision, time, and delegation skills that are phenomenal. I get a little nervous, and I've said this to Joe, that we're not going to have the Marys and the Marks, or maybe we will. That'd be great. But Mary and Mark are another force of nature. They're in all the different pieces, and they're there all the time, and they're building a team in that office that is unbelievable when you get these people. I struggle with structure. If you haven't figured that out, I have ADD, so I have a different way of looking at things. In my own business, I struggle with structure. Bobby is the king of structure, so it's really, it's great to follow. So, in 6-8 years it is that I will be national president, it's going to be another interesting to see where it goes when Joey takes off, because again, there's a lot of pieces of this that have to keep moving forward. This new website we're talking about is going to be unbelievable. And ironically, the people that are outside our organization are the ones that are going to build this organization. We are building it, but they are coming in droves and seeing what we're doing and understanding the best kept secrets. So, for all of you out there in the audience, and there are a few of you who know what it was like pre that time, pre Bobby getting to be national president, and now I know some of it seems a little murky and it seems a little frustrating and it seems scary, and it doesn't, I've heard if my father saw this, and ironically, that's not only the world we're living in, but that's the order we're living in. And the only way it will be survive and thrive is by having everyone else in the world know how good we do what we do. So, Brother Bob, I can't thank you enough. I did also just want to also say, I did call Brother Bob and say, I have been kind of absent in the last year and a half due to some stuff in my world that is changing. I will be much more involved and engrossed, and with my first national vice president as well. So, so I wanted to give you a little more perspective on that. And I thank you. So my committees that I oversee are business development, Cooley's Anemia, Garibaldi Miucci, Solero, Student Summit, and Women's Action, which is a really fun one. Business development, we're doing a little revamping of that and getting some information. I want to thank Joe Rondinelli for Cooley's Anemia. Joe nationally does a great job, and New York always supports. So thank you, Joe. Garibaldi Miucci, Carlo, great job. I think Joe's blood is Cooley's Anemia. I really do, because he lives it, man. He lives it. Solero is Barbara Formosa Wisniewski. Thank you very much. And so Barbara, I mentioned in my minutes, Barbara has a question that she's going to bring to the orator to see if we can resolve it, because there's a difference. So we won't do it at the convention, but Barbara will do it and we'll update you on that report. My favorite one that I've always been involved in is student summit. And that was always Kathy Drummond and Carolyn Rears. Both of them, I believe, I talked to Carolyn, have resigned. And so we got to that, because that is one of those that, as Bob says, those kids give you more energy than you can get, and they become friends for life. And so now that we're getting out of this, I don't even like saying the word, this thing that we've been in the last 2 years, we're going to start revamping that and get that back into Washington, D.C. And then what can I say about the Women's Action Committee? I wish everyone here could video those conversations, because they're gold. They have a lot of energy. And so Linda and team, you guys do great stuff. As you know, you're gonna see and hear some of it. You've seen their report. But in closing, I just wanted to say, try being a little patient. People who have walked these streets before us really struggling with some of this stuff. I mean, I still have to go over and help people with logging in and doing all that type of stuff. So I think the change, I know the change is really good. It's just, we're gonna have to look at it and make sure that we may have to explain it 2 times to some people. But Brother Bob, I can't thank you enough.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I want to, before we get to Brother Lupo, thank you for those comments, Michael, Joey. Does anybody here not have email? Raise your hand who has no email. Anybody? Because we're going to pass a bylaw. I just decided today that email is no longer a tool we can use to communicate business with the Sundoors of Italy. Email is no longer allowable. We'll have to, if you have something that you want to send to the national law, you have to write a letter, get an envelope, purchase a thing called the stamp. Okay. You laugh, but this is to Michael's point. If you were there in 2013, because I was, the fight that occurred because we wanted to make email an acceptable form of communication. Let me say the year again. You may have thought I was 1913, 2013. And we wouldn't even today imagine having an organization that doesn't use email. Am I right? 10 years ago, people are 9 years ago, we've never done it that way before. Now you can't think of not doing it that way. And this is still being produced. Looks great, right? Looks awesome. Okay. And our mailers are still going out. And the only thing is the social media thing where there seems to, but you know what I Michael? Man, when that COVID hit, somehow these people found a way to get on Zoom to talk to their grandkids. When the spirit was there, the flesh was willing, the spirit was there. We did things differently, right? We confronted death, but we want to be connected to our family. So we found a way to do it. That's all I got to say. Tom Lupo.
I actually petitioned Bob that we have this meeting via Zoom, but obviously didn't take my advice. But again, I'm used to that. I actually don't have a preamble for my report. It's wonderful seeing you. My report appears on pages 18 and 19. And I was very fortunate to be assigned as advisor to 4 committees by our national president: Budget, Audit, and Finance, co-advisor to the Convention and Plenary Site Committee, Fundraising Committee, which I have some comments on, and the Investment Committee. The takeaway on these committees and all our committees, that each committee was established and had to develop a mission and goals, and the goals had to be consistent with our budget and our national president's vision for the future. I delivered the the budget on behalf of our national president. It was all made clear, okay? Whether the budget had a deficit projected, because you can't, it's difficult to project success. You've heard the success, but when you do a budget, you don't put in success unless you're absolutely sure. So the budget had a deficit, but the beauty of that was it had the support of the entire membership. And that's the takeaway from the fact that we had an actual shortfall in the projected budget when it was approved at our convention. But you heard what our national president has indicated as what the results are going to be. When you get to hear them, I believe that's for tomorrow or maybe this afternoon. Just a quick, it's tomorrow. Okay, just a quick overview of the Budget, Audit, and Finance Committee. Again, the takeaways, and you've heard it from our national president. Every aspect of our organization was reviewed, and we implemented cost savings in a number of areas, attributable to all the people and components of the organization that you've already heard. And I think the most significant takeaway is that they functioned team, and they focused on their goals, and they continue to focus on their goals, which is very difficult to get committee environment. As I indicated, the results are going to be seen when you see the financial reports. Bob already gave away the key numbers. I wouldn't have. I would have just said that you'll be pleasantly surprised, and you know who the experts are behind that. He already mentions his inside team, and they are really remarkable people. If you read my report, you'll see that I give them the credit that they deserve. The next committee, convention and site committee, I'm actually a co-advisor with Dr. D'Annunzio. And in conjunction with the budget committee, we did a review of the contracts, both for the plenary sessions and the upcoming convention in 2023. And we looked at what our requirements were in the contracts versus what we think we could actually commit to, whether it's in hotel nights or food and beverage. We analyzed it from the budget team perspective.
for Frank Gattuso. And I can tell you from having done this job for 5 years as national order, it is not easy.
Be the last guy before the break. It's
No,
gonna be.
We have to get those 12 o'clock.
Good. All right. Well, then I'm just gonna talk about gelato. Because apparently that's the way I was introduced today.
Places in Rome.
Apparently everybody does. My cousin told me when I told her I was going to this trip to Rome, she told me so the first thing she said to me is that she knows a place near the Pantheon that has, or not the Pantheon, the Spanish Steps. I don't even know where it was. 99. I don't know where it is, but 99 different flavors of gelato. I don't even think they exist, but so about 6, 7. I don't even know, but
That's only, that's 30 a day.
that's 3. We're good. As Bob said, we're gonna have to bring insulin pumps for us to be able to get through that time. But I want, yes. Nice. I want to thank you all for having me. Being the National Order has been a wonderful experience. I want to thank especially the people that I've worked with and everybody on this dais for your trust and confidence in me. It is a challenging position, as you say. I have to make a lot of decisions along the way and a lot of interpretations involved. But I must comment across the country and everybody here. Everybody has been fair to me, everyone that I've spoken to, even if I came down with a decision that was not in their favor or they disagreed with. There has been an extreme amount of professionalism, an extreme amount of intelligence and understanding. And as I listen to them, they listen to me. So it's a rewarding position in that regard. And I want to commend everybody here and everybody out in your states that have contacted me. Everybody's been great. So I just wanted to point that out. I'm not going to go through what's in the booklet. It's on one of the pages there. I outlined, there's a lot of topics that I've addressed since the last quarter. I just put in there the last quarter, not everything that we've done throughout the entire administration, but we've addressed a lot of things. I've addressed a lot of things, both from the national order position as well as an attorney. We've had some reviews of procedures and contracts, and Bob had a lot of reviews of the vendor contracts, and I was able to utilize my profession for us, for the benefit of us, to review those contracts, and we made some changes, and it's all for the better of this organization. But I want to note that because pretty much every contract that we have has been reviewed in the last 12 months. And there's a lot of them. They're intensive, they're fact intensive, they're relationship driven. And so we're in a lot better position because they've been updated. And some came up naturally and others were by the intentional review of this organization. So, and I mentioned that to let you know that we're evaluating everything. Everything's being evaluated, making sure we're getting the best bang for our buck and making sure that we're protected indemnity-wise, defense-wise. A lot of the stuff that we take for granted, that these fine lines and these contracts that really mean a lot and that are protecting all of us. Now, I also want to point out that along the way, I had some help, significant help, and I want to call out Tony Perfilio, who was involved on a lot of these contracts, and he also donated a lot of his legal expertise and his time to help along that way, and he provided a lot of great information and a lot of useful insight. Now, I, as the orator, I am the chair of the bylaw committee, not the chair of the bylaw. I'm the advisor to the bylaw committee. Our chair is Tony Perfilio and Michael Creedon. As I mentioned at our last meeting, we have undertaken the role, the committee has undertaken the role to redo the bylaws, update them, bring them to the year 2022. And it's a long, tough task. I'll be honest with you, it takes a lot of work, and I knew it going in, but I can't comment and I can't say enough, I should say, of what a great committee we have, led by Tony Perfilio and Michael Creedon, but primarily Tony has really given us an aggressive but fair outline for us to follow and during this administration, which, and Tony's going to talk about it a little bit later when he gives his report. But not only are we on time, we're actually ahead of schedule. So you can all rest assured that when we done within the next year, we will have everything reviewed, all of the bylaws. They are going to be updated. And it is a slow, painful task at times to review, read, cross-reference, come back, debate, analyze. You can't imagine, sometimes we're going over words. But in my profession, sometimes a single word can change the entire meaning of what's said. That is why I want to emphasize to you that it's such an important task what we're doing. And I'm not going to say it's been necessary to be done all these years, but going through it, it's definitely important. And our bylaws are a growing document, like the Constitution. It's a evolving document. And after we're done, it's not going to be perfect, but they're going to be updated. And I want to thank everybody in this room, as well as throughout the country, who have contributed along the way to us, giving us suggestions, giving us some thoughts along the way. We're trying not to change them substantively. We're trying to fix the words. We're trying to make sure there's clarity there. But there is some substantive changes that are being made. And obviously, if there's anything that's got to be voted on, it'll be with this group, but it'll come at the end of when we're done. So with that, I want to thank you all. I do want to mention one thing. As we've been doing that, I want to comment about Judge Al. Judge Al has been great. But every time we're given an assignment by Tony, how much we're going to try to get by the next meeting. And Judge Al has always been the first one out of the gate, edits and evaluation. And then Tony's quick to follow, and I try to jump in a little bit. So by the time we get to the meeting, we at least have 3 of us that have looked at it, so we can make the process go a little bit quicker. But I can't lie that I rely on Judge Al significantly to start the process, and then Tony to follow up. So by the time it's getting to me, I've benefited a lot. I'm just saying good, great. So thank you for your time, and enjoy the convention. Take care.
Great. Lynn Lawrence Murphy, historian.
Talk about being short. That's right, Nancy, Joe. I always told my kids dynamite came in small packages. So here we are. Good morning, brothers and sisters, and it is morning. First of all, I'd like to thank Sister Nancy, Vera, and Joanne for being a powerful woman and outstanding, and opening the door for us women to be able to have a chance to be up here with you gentlemen. We appreciate all of you, but we are delighted to be here. And I have to be honest, I'm honored to serve as your historian. I'm a history major, so history is my background, and I love every moment of it. And we are making history. And one of the things was interesting, talking to my granddaughters when I explained to them that I'd become the national historian. They said, Grandma, why don't you have more information on the website so we can learn more about the Grand Lodges, about your presidents? So I am requesting, asking all of you who have had national presidents from your Grand Lodges, would you please do some research, get biographies about these wonderful people, and send it to me, and I will forward. I've talked to Justin. We are going to have a format. I would like to have it put on the website so people can find out about our history through our past national presidents. I'd like to thank the office staff and thank all of the past presidents that have sent me your bios. I do appreciate it. It's going to take me a while, but my goal is that hopefully we will have it on the website so the rest of the world can really find out how great our order is. Along with that, I'd like to thank Carolyn Rears and all of you, Dr. Mary and Lisa Fabo for doing the outstanding video that they did about the Grand Lodges. I think it's important that we get that out. And as Brother Bob said, communicate it to all our members. When they see it, they're amazed. You notice I asked, as you have activities going on, I know that if we could do some kind of a collage, I would get Dr. Mary or Justin or someone. We can get that on the website so people can know about each one of your Grand Lodges. So please submit it. Bob started the ball rolling when he was in California with our youth. They are excited. But again, technology is their way of doing things. So we have to forget the beautiful paperwork that we had, the journals and everything, and get it out there for the world to see and our youth. So we need to kind of look at things differently. Lastly, I know you're starving, so I won't talk too long, but I would really appreciate those of you going to Rome. Please, let's have documentation. This is history 2022. We are opening another lodge in Italy. I want of my members in my Grand Lodge and all of the members in your Grand Lodge and throughout the nation to know that the order's sons and daughters of Italy and America are alive. We are wonderful. We are compassionate. And we are Italian American representatives and working with our roots. Thank you all very much.
I can't underscore that enough. And just to ease your mind, Justin gave me, when you said about, I hope we document Rome. We're even getting drones out in Rome. Okay. We got a production team ready to go because Lynn, your words are so prescient and right. The material we're going to get from Rome, we're going to be able to repurpose over and over again. And to your second point that you made, it's so important. Please give us those photos, give us those pictures, and our production team will put it together. Lynn is 1000% correct. That's what people would see, the face of us and all the great stuff. Lynn, thank you for reiterating those comments and really appreciate it. Next is Burrito, Commission for Social Justice. Robert's on those Tuesday and Friday calls. So he's spending at least 3 hours listening to us go on. And he's been a great friend and a great leader for CSJ. You know, his passion for Columbus, but he participates not just in CSJ matters. We've tasked Robert to help us with all sorts of. So I want to thank Robert in particular and Joe Shiami as well for that assistance they've given me. Robert.
Thank you. Yeah, I really love those Tuesday meetings. Running a business with 3-hour meetings, not just teasing. No, they're very good. Seriously. No, so anyway, brothers and sisters, good morning. And you know, we're still fighting the fight. We are out there with trying to set a positive image and fighting the fight on Columbus. And I have to tell you, I know we're making strides in this. I know we're making definitely we're making improvements. I believe the mindset is starting to change through education. And yep, through legal fights, legal action, and the threat of legal action. So it's definitely happening out there. We had a tremendous victory in Syracuse. Syracuse, the statue wanted to come down. We had and I have to say, the New York CSJ led that fight up in Syracuse. I know you hear a lot of attorneys from other organizations that take credit, but it was the New York CSJ and the members of the Order Sons and Daughters of Italy in America in Syracuse that led Carmine Federico. And that's where it starts. And that's what I like to see when we initiate these fights. Absolutely. And just in Chicago, Paul, your mayor here, Lori Light, she's had a change of heart. She will be replacing that statue. She is definitely replacing that statue. I got an article. Yep. I got some information after I wrote my report, and it's here that she's had a change of heart. She realizes that the 500,000 Italian Americans and 150 organizations do have something to say about what goes on in this in the city of Chicago. New Orleans, everybody remembers the apology that we had in New Orleans. We are taking the next step, and Kevin Kyra, Kevin's not here. I thought he was supposed to be here today. Kevin, is he here? Yes, he's here. To Kevin Kyra's credit, we started a fund to have some sort of a commemoration of the spot where these Italian immigrants were lynched. And I made a phone call to Charles Marcel down in New Orleans. And, you know, we had some money in the fund. I think we had about $4,000, $500. And I said, Charles, you know, we need to do something. And he was so happy that I called, because what he's doing, he's putting together part of a historical walk down in New Orleans. They have all these historical walks, and he started the process. Not that he started the process of getting a commemorative plaque put together down where these 11 Italian American immigrants were lynched. And I told him that we have the funds. We part of that commemoration. We will be buying the plaque. As you see in the magazine, we are looking to raise some additional funds to have a presentation, a nice plaque. And I'm happy to report that we have secured, there's 3 steps that he has to go to the mayor down there. Now, the mayor down there, Mayor Latoya Cantrell, she's very supportive of the Italian American community, sons and daughters of Italy in America. It was through her that we received the apology. And again, I'm going to say one more time, it was through the efforts of the sons and daughters of Italy in America, the New York Grand Lodge, Mike Santoro, our New York chairman, John Frater, and I was state president at the time, that we got that apology from the mayor. And Kevin Kyrie with support from National, we made it happen. So again, Daughter Sons and Italy in America on the forefront, and that's what's important. So we will be having that plaque together. We secured the first step. He's in the process of getting the other 2 steps approved. Hopefully somewhere maybe around September. I'm hoping it's sometime in October that we can go down there and have this dedication. We'll have a big Bella Figura down there, and we'll do what we have to do for Bella Figura. So also what's happening, I'm happy to report that we are getting together with other organizations. We're constantly working with other Italian American organizations. We're constantly working to form partnerships, alliances throughout the entire country. And one organization that we were very, very involved with many, many years ago through John DeBaney was the Italian American One Voice Coalition. Manny Alfano, I don't know if any of you ever knew him, but he recently passed away. Sorry, he was a great leader in that organization. We at the Sons and Daughters of Italy worked very closely with him many, many years. I have that relationship with Manny before he passed away, and now with Andre Domino, the new president down there. They have the resources. We are both anti-defamation organizations compared to the other organizations that are in Copa Conference of Presidents up in New York. So we are the anti-defamation organizations. We are working together. They have a tremendous resources as far as getting legal counsel and getting they have this public relations. Working together with them and Andre, we have formed a tremendous friendship and a partnership that we will be working together. And I'm happy to say that we do play a significant role, as Joe Shiami can CSJ, the foundation, and our national president play a tremendous role in the Conference of Presidents. I sit as the chair for the country for the Save Columbus Committee. Our national president was just vice president of Copa Mayo, Conference of Presidents, at our last meeting. And Joe Shiami's out there fighting the fight through the foundation. So it's happening. We're doing it. Another thing that I want to bring up to everybody is that we have a resource page. CSJ has started a resource page. You could find literature on there. You could find authors there that have positive things about Columbus, about our Italian heritage. Most recently, working with the Italian Heritage Commission from New Jersey, Robert, listen to me, I forgot his name. I'm 68. Robert Capisi. He wrote they put a curriculum from K to 12. Now, it's not just about Columbus. It's a positive image curriculum. It is about diversity. It's about our culture. And what they're trying to do is get it into the public school system, get it into the education system, and that needs your help. It's on the website. You could download it, K to 12. You could use it for your lodge, educate your members, put it out there, but try and get it into your local school boards. I know that's a tough thing to do, work with school boards, but if you could present it, not as a Columbus issue, but as a positive image and a diversity image with regarding all ethnic groups, you could probably get it in there and ask them to even take a look at it. I know lunch is coming up just very quickly, President, I'll wrap it up. So it's all of us working together that we create this positive image and we have an impact on the Italian American community. I do want to thank President Robert Bianchi for once again appointing me and having the trust in me, Robert. And I do enjoy those weekly Tuesday meetings. It's an hour and a half. I could probably squeeze a movie in if I bring my iPad and just kind of like sit below the camera, but I don't do that. But I want to thank, I have to thank our IPP, Nancy DiFiore Quinn, who started that with her weekly phone. And I believe that it brings the three entities together. It gives me a whole different perspective on what's happening at Supreme, how we could tie it into CSJ. So Robert, I think that those are tremendous, I look forward to seeing everybody every Tuesday. And I want to thank Shayla. I have to thank Shayla because for the first time, I really have to the finances of CSJ and how they work. And she's educated every one of us on finance because we're working closely with the finances now. So I want to thank Shayla for that. But most of all, I have to thank each and every one of you, the state presidents, my CSJ team, my vice president, Ralph, because this is how it gets done. Give me the information that I need to get out there and do what I have to do and to communicate. And hopefully we will have a new communications person to help me get out that communications, running a business. And I just started another one. Running a business is really difficult, getting the literature out, getting it out to our organization. And I know our national president has committed to that end to get someone to help us get the communications out and the call to actions. With that, I want to say thank you. Thanks, brother.
Thank you. Justin, okay, managing director. Justin, again, come on up and thank you so much for everything that you've been doing. And then after that, we will have Shayla, I believe. That's correct.
So guys, I will be extremely brief because the last thing I want to be stuck in a room with 50 hungry Italians. That's a nightmare. So I'm just going to echo a few that we've gone over. First of all, it's great to see everyone in person. It's been, I think, 2.5 years is too long. So we got to see a few faces at Nayla and a few faces in Jersey City last year, but it's great to be all together. Just to echo a lot of the points that have been made, we have a great office. We've brought on, since we talked last February, we've brought on Michael. We've brought on Joanna. We mentioned Harrison is our admin in the office. He comes in a few days a week. He's fantastic as well. And last but not least, Kayla coming on in her director position has been incredible. We're a close-knit group. We all get along. We have fun, but we work hard. And Andrew as well. Andrew's not in the office. We're all getting to know him, but he's fantastic. If you have any questions with the magazine, the email is the same. Reach out. He's very responsive. He's very easy to talk to. So don't hesitate. He's a great addition as well. The initiatives that we've taken on, Lara fundraiser, the Ukraine fundraiser. We're taking on a new website right now that we're working on. I mean, we have a lot of things in the pipeline and a lot of things that we've done, and they're all exciting. And they're all going to benefit, Supreme, SIF, CSJ. We got the curriculum up. The resource page is up and running. SIF was, we'll talk about this during the SIF meeting, but NAYLA was an extreme success. I think it kind of surprised us all on how it went, but not for the lack of hard work. And next year, hopefully we can grow even more. We're looking at potentially being back in that the same building, not the same space. And then last but not least, the Rome trip. This an extremely exciting thing. We have so many ideas and so many things that we're hoping to get out of it, bring back and use. And then, it's a work fun trip. So there's going to be a lot of meetings. We're really excited to meet the lodge in Rome. Mark has had that opportunity, but I don't think anybody else has. So make that connection to Palermo Lodge, and then do a lot of cultural things that are important for us to reconnect. So really exciting times. Once again, I'm really happy, really, really glad to be here with everybody. And I thank you all for your support. Feel free to call in the office. We always love hearing from you. If you're in DC, stop by. we're in there full time. So don't hesitate to come by. And I will pass the mic to Shayla. Lunch is upstairs in Hartsfield. It's in the lobby level. So we will go up 2 levels to get to that.
While Shayla's making her way up here, the way Shayla is making her way up here originated from Mark D'Annunzio telling me before I became president that you gotta talk to Shayla. You gotta talk to Shayla. Shayla, I'm like, will you stop with this Shayla? No, you gotta talk to Shayla. Shayla. Man, I'm glad Shayla. So and here she is.
Thank you for that, Mark. It's my honor and privilege to serve this order. You all have been so welcoming and amazing to work with. Every single person that I've worked. Thank you, Paul, for the gift. I've already put it to good use. You've heard the wonderful things the administration has accomplished and achieved. You'll hear it again tomorrow. I'm not going to go into that because it's great. It's great stuff. We'll get there tomorrow, even more than we have today. I couldn't have asked for a better team to work with. Bob, as it's been said, is a visionary, and I'm thankful to be on the team to help put his vision into make it a reality. Lou's been a pleasure to work with. He's had great skills at accounting now. He's an A+ student. Joe Rondinelli for always being prompt and keeping meetings lively. And especially Mark and Tom for all of the advice. They are invaluable to this organization, and the history, the background, all of the advice that I could ask for, they have. So thank you all.
Thank you. What? I just, do you guys want to eat or do the raffle? Raffle, okay. Let's raffle. What?
Brevity of Shayla's. He can't be rejuvenated.
Yeah. It's the accountant.
Yes.
Who's got the bag? Okay.
Okay. One of the things when you have a raffle, everybody that's not a winner always says shake it up, but oh, okay. John's gonna present the things. It helps if I put my glasses on. Okay, the first winner is 47949. Check your stubs. Check your stubs. Who's got 249? Somebody's got to have it. Oh, there. Okay.
Your car's outside. We'll take a look at it later.
All right, second winner, 479264. 264. Back there. Okay. Only take one at a time, so. Okay, 479248. 248. Okay, this is a different number. 3099613. Oh, here we go, right here.
You guys got more bags.
Oh.
That's the wrong number.
Okay. We got one bag left. Okay, one bag left. 309-9616. Who? In the back. Okay. Thanks for your participation.